Welcome to Site Reliability Engineering Crashcasts. I'm your host, Sheila, and today we're diving into the world of Puppet and its role in SRE environments. Joining me, as always, is our expert, Victor. Before we begin, listeners should have a basic understanding of infrastructure management and continuous delivery concepts. Victor, are you ready to puppeteer our way through this episode?
Absolutely, Sheila. I'm excited to pull the strings on this topic. What do you have in store for us today?
Well, we'll be covering Puppet's role in infrastructure management and continuous delivery, its strengths and limitations, and how it compares to similar technologies. But first, let's start with a quiz question for our listeners. What percentage of Fortune 500 companies use Puppet for their infrastructure management?
Ooh, that's an interesting question, Sheila. It really makes you think about the adoption rate of infrastructure management tools in large enterprises. I'm curious to see if our listeners can guess the impact Puppet has had on the industry. What do you think, folks? Is it a small niche tool, or has it become a staple in IT departments worldwide?
Great setup, Victor. Now, before we dive deeper, could you give us a brief introduction to Puppet and explain why it was created?
Certainly. Puppet is an open-source configuration management tool that was created in 2005 by Luke Keynes. It was developed to solve the problem of managing large-scale infrastructure efficiently. Puppet allows system administrators to define the desired state of their infrastructure using a declarative language, and then automatically enforces that state across all managed systems.
That's interesting. So it's like having a master puppeteer controlling all the infrastructure strings. Can you explain how Puppet facilitates infrastructure management in SRE environments?
Great analogy, Sheila. Puppet indeed acts like a puppeteer for your infrastructure. In SRE environments, Puppet plays a crucial role in implementing infrastructure as code, or IAC. It allows teams to define their infrastructure configuration in code, which can be version-controlled, tested, and automatically deployed. This approach ensures consistency across environments and reduces manual errors.
I see. So, if I understand correctly, instead of manually configuring each server or device, we write code that describes how everything should be set up and Puppet makes it happen. Is that right?
Exactly. You've got the hang of it. Puppet uses a declarative approach, meaning you specify the desired end state, and Puppet figures out how to achieve it. This is different from an imperative approach, where you'd have to write step-by-step instructions for every change.
That makes sense. Now, how does Puppet support continuous delivery in SRE environments?
Puppet plays a significant role in continuous delivery by automating the configuration and deployment processes. It allows SRE teams to quickly and reliably deploy changes to their infrastructure. When combined with other tools in a CI/CD pipeline, Puppet can automatically update configurations across environments, ensuring consistency from development to production.
I can see how that would be beneficial, but surely Puppet must have some limitations. What are some of the challenges teams might face when using Puppet?
You're right, Sheila. While Puppet is powerful, it does have some limitations. One challenge is the learning curve associated with Puppet's domain-specific language. Teams need to invest time in learning this language to effectively use Puppet. Another limitation is that Puppet's agent-based architecture requires installing agents on all managed nodes, which can be a challenge in some environments.
Interesting points, Victor. How does Puppet compare to other similar technologies in the market?
Great question. Puppet is often compared to tools like Ansible, Chef, and SaltStack. While they all aim to solve similar problems, they have different approaches. For example, Ansible is agentless and uses YML for configuration, which some find easier to learn. Chef uses a more code-centric approach with Ruby. The choice often depends on specific team needs and existing skill sets.
That's helpful context. Now, I'm curious about best practices. What tips do you have for teams using Puppet in their SRE workflows?
Some key best practices include modularizing your Puppet code for reusability, using version control for your Puppet manifests, and implementing testing for your Puppet code. It's also crucial to follow the principle of idempotency, which means that applying the same configuration multiple times doesn't cause unintended changes. In other words, running a Puppet configuration once should have the same effect as running it multiple times.
Great advice. Before we wrap up, do you have any fun facts about Puppet to share with our listeners?
Actually, I do. Did you know that Puppet got its name because its creator, Luke Carnes, wanted a name that was fun and memorable? He chose Puppet because it conveyed the idea of controlling things from a central location, just like a puppeteer controls multiple puppets.
That's a clever name choice. Now, it's time to reveal the answer to our quiz question. Victor, would you like to do the honors?
Certainly. The answer is that approximately 75% of Fortune 500 companies use Puppet for their infrastructure management. It's quite impressive how widely adopted Puppet has become in large enterprises.
Wow, that's a significant market share. To wrap up, let's summarize the key points we've covered today. Puppet is a powerful tool for infrastructure management and continuous delivery in SRE environments. It uses a declarative approach to define infrastructure as code, automates configuration management, and supports consistent deployments across environments. While it has a learning curve, its benefits in terms of scalability and reliability make it a popular choice for many organizations.
Excellent summary, Sheila. I hope our listeners found this deep dive into Puppet informative and useful for their SRE practices.
Thank you, Victor, for sharing your expertise. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to Site Reliability Engineering Crashcasts. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a rating. Until next time, keep puppeteering your infrastructure.